All right, we sure will. Thanks, Alex. And let's bring in our panel now to debate this. Retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General Blaine Holt, president of Xariant Incorporated and a Newsmax contributor, joining us. Blaine was also deputy U.S. military representative to NATO. And pleased to have former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum, senior political analyst and senior advisor at the Convention of States. Senator Santorum served in Congress for 16 years, known as one of the most successful government reformers in our history. And you're on the record, Senator Santorum. I'll start with you. You're not approving of the way President Trump is speaking in regards to Greenland. And there's other Republicans out there who don't like this talk.
Well, first off, I tremendously commend him for making Greenland a center point of his foreign policy. In fact, I commend him for focusing on the Western Hemisphere, whether it's Venezuela or other South and Central American countries. It is a long time coming. It's something I was pushing for through previous presidents when I was actually in office, and it has been ignored for too long of a time. So congratulations on him. And I also congratulate for pushing for a much more robust president of the United States on Greenland, and to the extent that that the Danes and the Greenlanders are open to a possession, I'm all for it too. I'm not against it. In fact, I think it's a great idea. The question right now is how much more can you win? I mean, he's won just about everything but for the actual possession of the island. It's almost like the Danes and the Greenlanders have said, we'll give you a 99-year lease. You can do whatever you want here, but we're not going to sell you the property. And to me, that's a win. But the president seems hell-bent on moving forward. I just worry about the downside consequences of persisting forward on demanding ownership.
Well, persisting is the way he is right now. We know President Trump said the world is not secure unless we have complete and total control of Greenland. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. Scott Besson on the Sunday morning shows, Blaine, came out and said Greenland can only be defended by the United States. Do you think any of this is stemming from the Nobel Peace Prize? Because that's the other thread to all of this, where that letter was sent, and some think it's about a snub. Reuters reporting in a post, they say, "Dear Jonas, considering your country decided not to give me the Nobel Peace Prize for having stopped 8 wars," he goes on to say, "I can't think purely of peace." It's getting a lot of play, Blaine. You say you are okay with the way the rhetoric is going.
Oh, absolutely. The president has his own negotiating style, and the world has gotten used to that and has adjusted to that. We're always going to expect the odd, mean social media post, and that's just basically a distraction and throws it out there. What's really serious about this is that Greenland is essential to our security in an age of hypersonics, nuclear-tipped missiles, where there's zero advance warning minutes away. It's not just the minerals, it's our own safety here at home. And so Denmark's not prepared to defend Greenland. They have 2 ships and a dog named Rex. And you saw the mighty European deployment to show solidarity was 35 folks. As soon as the word tariff was said, 13 of them ran back to Germany. And so they're not serious. And I think the more important thing is the president's uncovering a widening rift with our European allies over the future of security in general and NATO and European and Western values and what those things are. This is just a wedge point. Will the president get this as our 51st state? Probably not, but will we eventually control what happens there so that Chinese and Russian influence is not on Greenland because somebody decided they needed to make a buck over there? No, I think we're going to secure it.
And Senator Santorum, ultimately, do you think that will be the outcome here? I know that Jeff Landry has been disinvited from a dog sled race. Not sure he cares about that because the mission at hand is one President Trump clearly is focused on.
Yeah, I guess the thing I don't know is what have the Danes and the Greenlanders said that they won't allow the United States to do that the United States wants to do. So if there, and again, I'm not privy to all that information. So if there are things that they're saying, no, we're not going to do this, then I'm all for the president pushing forward. But to me, when we get what we actually desire, which is pretty much what Blaine laid out, my point at that point, then you stop. But maybe we're not there yet. Again, I'm not privy to all the negotiations.